So it brings up another interesting point too, is because like not only does mainstream media affect our perception of crime, and obviously social media, because you have a large demographic of people like within our generation who don't even watch the news. I don't watch the news. Anything I need to know, I go online. I go on social media and stuff because it's like I feel like Twitter gives you like I really don't use Twitter for personal consumption, like tweeting and creating content, but to keep update about what's going on around the world and stuff like that, I feel like is extremely helpful. And I feel like a lot of people do share that same sentiment within our generation, like even like with the Snapchat news stories and the way that they cover things. So I mean that's increasingly how we become informed. So we talk about how the like CNN and Fox and these major news networks, how they cover things, but we've got to realize that the younger generation like us, we're actually getting informed by a different method. And I'm curious, like the news channel that Snapchat has along the bottom of their screen, a lot of times it's NBC. So I guess it's still correlated because NBC is just like this is just an offshoot, but it's increasingly more so that we get our news from freelance sources or secondhand sources rather than the big corporations. I mean, even though that was an example of NBC, like being filtered into Snapchat where it was more accessible to people in our group. So, what are your thoughts about like how social media affects things? Excuse me, affects our perception of crime. And I'll give you a second to think about that. One thing that I could think of off bat is when people are posting things, they don't have dates on them. So that could make things look disproportionate. Like when a specific video is shown, like you could have, like for example, there could be a crime and it has like all these bodies on the ground. And let's say there was like somebody will say there's this mass shooting or this incident here. And then they'll post that picture, but without the context, you don't know when, like if that picture is actually related to the incident or not. And so I do a lot of that too. It's like, it's really hard to tell. And like what I'm talking about with the what I said earlier with the Asian American Pacific Islander crimes, there was hate crimes that were committed against Asian Americans in the past. I can't say how far back because there weren't exact dates, but I do know I've seen the videos before that maybe had resurfaced. So it looks more like due to relevancy, like you start to see these things. So I do see like there's a lot of confusion or room for confusion when it comes to the timeline of certain things because of just the nature of sharing things. Like most people don't have times and dates for that. They just share the video and you can take the context and run with it. Most people don't do the background investigation. So it makes it look like everything's happening at once.